That's a wrong movie.
What movie?
We're coming home for the holidays.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's a place we're going. We're gonna have a feast.
We're gonna see Violent Night?
We're gonna be not that movie.
Not that
we did see that
movie.
We did see it at that theater, at the Aero Theater in Santa Monica.
Right.
Which we're
Another
headed
holiday
to
classic
right now. We're heading there right now to go see. Finally, someone made a horror movie for November.
No.
You don't have to wait. You don't have to go from October to December.
Wait a minute. We have April Fool's Day.
Right.
You know, we've got Mother's Day,
Right.
Father's Day. That
Right.
was Trauma release.
Right.
Yeah, we've got...
Well, we do have Blood Rage, which is the Thanksgiving horror movie.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
You know?
all right. I'll give you that
It's
one.
not cranberry sauce.
Right.
But now, Eli Roth.
No.
Yes, Grindhouse trailer. If you remember, when Grindhouse was released, Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino had that awesome movie.
That was like Death Proof.
And Death Proof and Planet Terror. They had the fake trailers. Werewolf Women of the SS, Rob Zombies.
Ooh.
Don't, by Edgar Wright. Machete from Robert Rodriguez, which became a movie.
Right.
But now Eli Roth, Thanksgiving, got made into a movie, a fucking full-on movie.
16 years later.
Right. But dude,
Hey.
white meat, dark meat, all will be carved. Dude, Eli Roth, he's like, I want to make a movie I don't want you guys to have to wait from October all the way to December. There should be a movie in November for Thanksgiving, and we got it. So, the only thing is, I wish Michael Biehn would have reprised his role.
Oh, that would have been cool.
You got Patrick Dempsey, which is probably a step up.
Patrick Dempsey's in this?
Yeah, he plays the cop. I think he's playing Michael Bihn's role. Did you not know that?
Patrick Dempsey?
Yeah.
So we're going to watch Thanksgiving.
Yes, Thanksgiving. If you haven't guessed what it is, it's Thanksgiving. We're going, and guess what? Cool part, Eli Roth will be in attendance to do a Q&A. And if you guys ever seen a Q&A or interview with him, just a vast knowledge of horror movies, of movies in general. He's just like Tarantino. If you ever listen to those two guys talk, I can listen to that guy talk about movies forever. I wish he had a podcast. So hopefully, if our arms can hold the camera up the phone the whole time, we can record the whole Q&A. Because if it goes for a long time, we might see the phone go from Scott's perspective, my perspective, Scott's perspective, my perspective. So hopefully, it'll go awesome. So we're heading there now. Hopefully there's no traffic, and we'll see if we can meet him. That'll be awesome too. That's always a plus.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, so
buckle in for the ride. Make sure as this leads in and you're enjoying the Q&A, tell other people about it, spread the word, like definitely the video, and encourage others to subscribe so they can watch it themselves.
That's right, because you know why? There won't be any leftovers.
Work in progress, and we actually really tried as hard as we could to get this film to screen during the festival, and Eli was like, fuck man, it's not ready. But the first chance that we could get to screen it, and this is the first thing we've done outside of the festival, so we all hibernated after Beyond Fest, so thank you everyone. Everyone came out. The first thing that we did, and we were like, well fuck it, we're going to screen this film because it's awesome, and if anyone needs to see it, it's you in this room tonight. So, thank you all for coming out. Huge shout out and thank you to everybody at Spyglass Media Group, everybody at TriStar and the Sony team that have been so instrumental in helping us putting the screening together. So thank you to them. We have to thank everybody in the American Cinematheque and in particular the volunteers. Woo! There is a real human up in the projection booth. So give it up for this. So as per with Beyond Fest screenings, there are some rules, and the first rule is have a really fucking good time. But please, no talking, no texting. You'll see some people with cameras. Yeah, I'm looking at you. They might be shooting your reactions, so it's okay to laugh and scream and have a really good time. But please, no talking, no texting. And then these beautiful people with cameras, don't film me. They will be in the lobby afterwards as well to get your reaction, and they'll use that in their materials as they promote this film. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on this slide. So, let me see. Yes, so other rules, very, very important. There are 2 embargoes on this film because we have some press people in the audience, and then we also have lots of normal people in this audience. And so for you normal people, actually just for all of us, there is a social media embargo that is 8 p.m. on the 14th. Now, what that means is, you can go online and you can say, hey, I saw Thanksgiving. That's it. Okay? After the 14th at 8 p.m. you can say, I saw Thanksgiving and it's fucking awesome. But because there's a social media embargo and Sony wants to hold, TriStar, they want to hold everything until the 14th, don't say shit. If you do say anything, we know where you live and we will bang your ass from this theater and the Egyptian and the Las Vegas Street. And similarly for press, no reporting on this because we know which outlets you write for and you'll be cut off. So it's real simple. Now, understanding all of that, you're here just to have the very, very best time possible. This film opens in theaters on November 17th. But, as I said, you're the first people anywhere in this beautiful country to see this incredible film. And the reason why we're here tonight is because of the man that actually made it. So please, give it up for the one, the only, Mr. Eli Roth!
So obviously, this has been a dream of mine and my best friend Jeff since we were 12 years old. So I'm gonna be a little emotional. We always dreamed of filling the November gap. It fucking killed us that after Halloween, it was just family movies until like January. And we were like 12, we were just like, oh God, we have to sit through all these Christmas movies, there's no horror movies. So we just wanted, and we wanted to make a Thanksgiving themed slasher film so bad growing up in Massachusetts. And then I'll tell you all the stories about making it after. We're gonna do a Q&A. But please, obviously this is the first audience in America to see the movie. This is it. Like you guys please, let's all take the John Carver pledge because it's a big responsibility and I'm obviously fucking terrified of spoilers leaking out because I want everyone to have a fun experience. But maybe we can all say, I state your name. Solemnly swear to protect the secrets of Thanksgiving.
To protect the secrets of Thanksgiving.
Especially the identity of John Carver.
Especially the identity of John Carver.
So that he or she may maim and kill. Many movies to come.
Many movies to come.
Awesome, there you go. You guys have it. I'm actually going to watch the room. So, you know, they're filming you for reactions, like for commercials. So you can react extra big because then you're making a commercial. And also, I'll be deluded into thinking the movie works better than it does. First two functions. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you guys next time.
There's no introduction necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eli Roth!
I don't know if you were acting for the cameras, but that's like maybe the best screening I've ever been to.
When the trampoline came on the screen.
Everybody applauded.
They knew.
No, it didn't give it to you the way you'd expect, but the other version exists.
Yeah. Eli, so what is wrong with you?
You didn't say that. It should be like, thank you. No, look, I love slasher movies. I love them. I love them so fucking much, especially holiday slashers. You know, where I grew up, you know, it was obviously Halloween, Black Christmas, My Bloody Valentine, April Fool's Day, Mother's Day, and then the classic slashers, The Prowler, you know, Happy Birthday to Me. I mean, anything, you know, I love Maniac, Nightmares in a Damaged Brain, just any of these films that start with a POV, that have the identifying chiron, and of course Pieces is probably my alternate. But it's just, and Jeff and I grew up in Massachusetts, and it's the biggest, Thanksgiving is the biggest deal. It is rammed down your throat as a kid. There's a school play, there's 2 different recreation villages. So we'd be there as a kid, and they're like, we are the Pilgrims, what is a television? And then you'd be like, you don't watch TV? They're like, we've never heard of a television. You'd be like, did you see the Celtics blow that game last night? TJ was a big girl. Like, then we'd see like, pizza and the butter. And how the other thing goes, man, what if you threw someone in a butter churner? You know, Jeff and I were there going, how has nobody made a horror movie out of Thanksgiving? To us, it was the most obvious one with a Killer Pilgrim. So this, like, when we were 12 and 13, we just started thinking of different deaths. Like, you could roast a human turkey, or what if there's a turkey and you cut the head off? The guy in a turkey suit, he runs around with a turkey and his head cut off. So it's amazing to see it in a real movie theater with an audience.
So you've literally been carrying this for like 30 plus years, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And Jeff, so Jeff was your childhood friend. So, and to be clear, so you grew up in Newton, which is about 40 minutes away from Plymouth. Yeah. Did, and as you were thinking about this, were you like, man, fuck Plymouth, we gotta get one against these guys? Was there any of that you were writing? Or, sorry, as you were thinking about this as a kid?
No, it was all about skewering the holiday. I mean, that was the whole fun, was like just hanging a slasher on the holiday. And, you know, when obviously Quentin and Robert approached me to do a trailer for Grindhouse, I was like, oh my God, we had all the deaths. Now, obviously, that was within the context of Grindhouse. You're thinking of, like, this has to be, like, the most vile film ever made. So that was the most fun part, was we didn't have to think of a plot. You could just think of the most disgusting, inappropriate things and see if anyone would stop you from filming it. We had 2 days on to the end of Hostel 2, and where's Mike McCarty? Shout out to Mike McCarty. McCarty, stand up, wave your hands, I can't see. Mike McCarty! So Mike McCarty, who McCarty is based on, created the human turkey. For the first one, he did all the effects, and he's in the
Please
first
leave the
trailer.
theater right now.
McCarty.
Wait, so is that camera in the trailer?
Yeah, he's gonna get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, okay, it's you.
Yeah, that is mine.
Oh, man.
So we did that. We added 2 days. Sue's on Hostel 2. We added 2 days on to the end of the shoot, and we shot it, and we had the best time because it was just like there were no rules.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, film school. We were just fucking around and having fun. And then we almost got trapped by the trailer because we were trying to write it for years after that. And we just found ourselves writing the boring scenes between the kills. And we're like, well, how can you impale her on a trampoline and then roast it? Like, it's something we're not writing a real movie. We're just filling out the trailer. And kind of the creative breakthrough we had was we said, like, well, what if we just pretend Thanksgiving 1980 is a real movie, and the day it was released, every print was destroyed. It was just burned. It was so offensive. And the only thing that survived was a trailer on the darkest corners of the internet. One person, you know, uploaded it on 4chan. And this is the 2023 reboot of what that movie was. And there's no record of anything else. And that sort of freed us up creatively to just tell a good story. So the intention was always to make a real slasher film, albeit even if it goes ridiculous at times. And then once it was really seeing the Black Friday tramplings that got us going, that's the inciting incident. Once we saw all those YouTube videos that started appearing of like the gates going up and people crushing each other for televisions and waffle irons, we thought you could have a whole bunch of people get maimed and then cut to, you know, a certain amount of time later and all the people connected to the trampling were getting picked up.
Because as crazy as that opening is, and it is, I mean, like, I was shocked because it's like you're killing, in the trailer, James out, but you kill her right out the gate. But as you're watching it, you're like, this is completely absurd, it's completely insane. But at the same time, that shit was like, I mean, not as viscerally, but like that shit was happening. Like people were literally like storming the gates and climbing over.
They were, and ripping out each other's weaves. I mean, those things get violent. But the reactions were great. My God, did you guys like that opening? It was fun.
Yeah.
And Gina's like, I want to be in a horror movie, and I was like, yeah. Oh, by the way, like if you're filming this, please don't upload this until after the movie. I don't want the spoilers out.
Oh yeah,
there.
still no spoilers.
Like it's cool if you film it, but just wait until after.
Especially you right there.
So yeah, Gina called me. She was like, "When are you gonna put me in a horror movie?" And we were casting Amanda, and I was like, "Well, Gina, I actually have a great role. It's a small one, but it's a juicy one. And let me give you a great death, like a memorable death, because it's got to be someone that you're like, don't expect to see that happen to, and then it's got to propel someone would be killing." Believable that someone would go on a rampage for her. And she was great. She'd never been killed in a horror movie. She had so much fun.
But also the fact that you killed her off early was kind of like, okay, no one is safe now. It was almost like Psycho.
Yeah, once you kill Gina, then it's like anybody can go. And that's what I loved about having such a great cast. Nell Verlaque was a discovery. She only did this one Disney show called Big Shot, but she'd gone to performing arts. She's like a theater-trained New York actor. Her father's an actor and acting teacher. She like grew up in New York theater, and it's a complete discovery. There were a lot of girls that wanted that role. And one of the things about not casting in person, I would always prefer to cast in person, but everyone was still doing these tapes, and I missed it. Like I totally missed her audition. I was looking at 500 auditions within 2 days, and it was Jeff who like stayed up all night. He was like, "Why are we not looking at Nell again?" And I was like, "Who?" And I looked back at her, I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're right. She's every quality we're looking for." She's like a young Julia Roberts, but she's so natural and just you believe her and she's likable. And I actually thought she would pair really well with Addison Rae, who really wanted to be in it. And Addison obviously is so incredibly famous, but since I don't have TikTok, I knew she was, but I had never seen her before. I was like, I know that girl is, I think. But so I was just judging her on her acting, and she really wants to, very serious about acting. And they were actually a great balance. And then Jenna Warren, I had done a VR short from Meta called Trick or Treat, and Jenna was in that, as was the kid Dorian, who was the thing with the abs. But then when people just, obviously making movies is a faith-based system. You just have to have faith it's going to fucking work out, because you don't know. And so much of a slasher film depends on, the balance of the kids and who's likable and who can be a good suspect. And, Jalen Thomas Brooks I thought was really fantastic, and a very different type from Milo Manheim. So she goes from one guy to the other. And they were, Milo I've known his mom for a long time, and Milo has always done the Disney Zombies movies. And I was like, do you want to come to, basically I was like, guys, we're doing this low budget, we're going Fast and Furious, and we'll shoot it in 30 days, but you'll have the fucking time of your life. Which was a really fast shoot. That riot scene was, the whole thing from the moment they arrived in the car through the gunshot was 4 nights. So it was like 2 nights outside, 2 nights inside. So it was kind of all the skills I ever had, from directing to plan and prep. And I had a really fantastic director named Justin Harding, who shot some episodes of my show, The Haunted Museum, helping me and shooting second unit for me. He kind of stepped in to do that. So, getting little pieces and little details. If you do 100 takes of corn sliding.
The whole production was insanely fast, because the film only got greenlit earlier this year, right? So you were just...
No, it was Thanksgiving of last year.
Hey.
I said, can you have this ready for next year? And I said, we can't. This was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I said, we can have it ready if we start Monday. Now, I had kind of prepped this movie a couple of times and it had fallen apart, and the summer before, I actually went with Jeff Rendell to Canada, Toronto. We had already scouted. We scouted 3 locations. So I was like, I've already filmed the high school. I've already filmed town. I've got a lot done. But, we need to start Monday. And they said, yeah, let's go. So we started casting. And then the first person we reached out was Patrick Dempsey's agent. And it was amazing. Yeah, great. We're giving it for Patrick.
Because we know him, right? I mean, he's McDreamy. He's absolutely the ultimate heartthrob, sexiest man alive. And all of a sudden, he's chopping off heads in your movie.
I know, it's beautiful. That's a spoiler we want to keep in the inner circle of trust here. Patrick Patrick is an amazing actor. He's one of those guys, like Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise, has been famous since the 80s, and it's for a reason. So I was in high school when Can't Buy Me Love came out, so I was like a fan of his, and his agent called, and I was like, please don't tease me. No, Patrick wants to do a horror movie, and he doesn't care that it's low budget. He's like, he's into it. And then I found out that his like 2 16-year-old sons, and the teenage boys are the ones that were like, Dad, horror movies are awesome. Like, it was like Kate Blanchett's son was like, Mom, you gotta work with Eli Roth. Like, it talks like that. I'm like, Mom, let's work with Eli Roth. So it's always the kids. Parents like, really? They want to be, they want their kids to become. No, but Patrick had always wanted. He was just done with romantic comedies and stuff. And then we started talking. I was like, yeah, I grew up in Boston. He's like, well, I grew up in Maine, in Lewiston. And do you want me to use my natural accent? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I like the New England accent, more like that, Maine. He goes, that's my accent. Everything you've heard in a movie is me pretending to not have my accent. He's like, this will be the first movie ever that shows how I really talk. That's going to be beaten out of me. When I was a kid, you'll never get hired for a job if you have that stupid New England accent. So, Can't Buy Me Love, it's like me really trying to lose my accent. But this is I'm talking like how I grew up and all the guys I grew up with. So it was great. Like, the thing is when Boston people and New England people get around and someone's got an accent. So like, then we're auditioning and this woman, Amanda Baca, comes in. She's like, the John Carver mask. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that so good? She's like, because I'm from Hanover. She's like, not only am I from Hanover, I'm fucking John Carver's my relative. She's an actual descendant of John Carver. By the way, John Carver, when Jeff was writing, when Jeff really did all the work, the police work and everything, figuring out how all the technical shit would work and, plotting the whole movie. And in doing his research, he's like, the first governor of New Plymouth Colony, the guy who was on the Mayflower, is named John Carver. So it's like when God hands you like a gift. I mean, John Carver, is that not the greatest slasher name? Perfect. So, it all started coming together. It just felt right. And then this kid, Mika Amundsen, he reads Milani, he's like, yeah, fuck you, mom, fuck you, dog, fuck you. I'm like, you're from Toronto. He's like, yeah. I'm like, how do you do that so good? He's like, well, I've watched The Departed 6 times. He's like, my whole life, all I ever wanted was to be in one of those Boston movies, like The Town or Boondock Saints or The Departed. And I just watched them over and over, learning the accent in case I ever get cast in one of these things. So everybody, and then Shay, who played the cheerleader, everybody was great. They had wicked accents. So, we just dialed it up. It was so much fun. I grew up with that, so I always wanted to see those dickheads in a horror movie. They deal with the slasher, fuck yourself. And then Tim Dillon's got the rough Long Island, fucking accent. It was so fun. So.
This, you talk about this, but it's a combination of everything. It's been 10 years, which is crazy to think. It's been 10 years since Green Inferno. Yeah. But you snapped right back into the horror director mode, right? Did it just feel right? Really comfortable?
It did. And I had Milan Khadema, my DP, who shot Hostel 1 and 2 and the original trailer for Grindhouse. Yeah, we applaud Milan. He's amazing. I had a DP, Rogier Stofers, who did Death Wish and A House with Clock on Its Walls and Borderlands, and Milan came and shot second unit on Borderlands, and we reconnected, and I just thought, I love Rogier, but it just felt right, Milan and I had such a great time. I wanted to recreate that magic of Hostel 1, and that feeling where your backs are against the wall and you have to get this fucking scene, or your career's over, and if this doesn't work, you're fucked. There's something about that gun to your head kind of pressure that I think does create diamonds and makes you not overthink it and makes you super plan it but make snap decisions. And this was the coldest shoot I've ever been in. You can see at the ending, that warehouse was so freezing, that location. The actors' faces were freezing, they couldn't say their lines, and shivering. It's all very real, but that's what we love. I wanted that. We watched so many movies. Fulci's House by the Cemetery, which is the fall. Yeah, Massachusetts movie. Obviously Mother's Day, Prowler, but also we have weird influences in there. When we watch films, I watched Jean-Jacques Bayonet's Diva. I was like, every minor, there's no minor characters. Every character in that movie is fucking cool. The guy with the bathtub, and then for the diner, he's like, oh, do you want it to look like this? I was like, no, look at the diner in 5 easy pieces. Look at the colors, it's bright, it's beautiful. Like, look at that photography. And the actors were like, what movie should I watch? What horror movie? And I told them to watch Sorcerer, because I didn't want anyone to and then the girls were like, what should I watch? I was like, watch Betty Blue. Look at Beatrice Stahl. She was 21. What's your excuse? They're like, okay. I was like, that's the level of acting I'm expecting from all of you, is Beatrice Stahl and Betty Blue. So go watch that movie. And then Nell Verlaque, I was like, watch Mute Witness. Anthony Waugh. We went to a 35 screening of Mute Witness before. I know you guys have rewatched it. It's fucking brilliant, especially the first hour. I was like, look at this lead actress. Every decision she makes, the whole movie is on her face and her eyes. That whole cat and mouse in the film studio. So those were, obviously other than Scream, the other obvious influences. Mute Witness was a huge influence on me. I love that movie.
Was there a nice kind of, and I said in the fondest way, but was there a nice competition on the set as well? Because everyone was kind of bringing their A game and stepping up to this?
You know, I had a thing where I've had actors compete on set and it turns ugly. And so one thing that I told the cast is, I was like, you all have to be best friends. And everyone's here, we're all fucking equal, we're all working together. If one person is having a down day, you pick them up. And if they shine in the scene, you shine in the scene. And you make them, your job is when another actor is acting, is to make them look good. And that is how we all win, because the chemistry was so fucking real between all of them. And everyone was supporting it. If someone else nails a joke, then they're gonna do that same for you. So you have to be generous, and you have to be there off camera. And they were so excited, and they were all like showing up to set when they weren't shooting. I gave everybody like DV cams, like Blair Witch style, like I found 1999 DV cams, so that they could all kind of shoot their own diaries, because I didn't want them shooting it on a phone or a 4K. I wanted it to have the like late 90s, early 2000s aesthetic, and they fucking loved it. They're like shooting on tape, and we get the tapes and batteries, and it's like for the home video release, there'll be like a diary that they did, but they were all there. So I was like, I want you all to have a great experience, and if you're not shooting, you're welcome, but if you're here on a day you're not shooting, you're documenting, like you're shooting behind the scenes. So I want you use this as, no one's getting paid, so everyone uses this as an opportunity to learn, and we're all gonna shine, everyone's gonna be great. And that's one of the things, like even Jacob, Jordan Poole, who's like a young Steve Buscemi, the kid with the fucking flower, he's so funny, and McCarty, Joe Delphine, these guys, it was great, because McCarty's like, he was bartending, he's like, everybody can come into my bar. Like, I was like, you're really getting the high school kids drunk. And then Tommaso, who plays Evan, is 18. It was his first movie where his mom wasn't on set. Even though he looks 24, he's the only one who's 18, and he was in college. It's like, I have a final that night. And then Jalen was like, dude, I'll write your paper for you. He's like some pineapples and there was more bananas. Jalen was like, so I was like, this is like Evan trying to get the kid to write his paper for him. So it was fun. They were all having so much fun. It was like summer camp. And then you have the veteran actors like Rick Hoffman, who's fucking brilliant on Suits, obviously. Yeah, give it up for Rick. We hadn't worked together since then. We've stayed friends, and obviously he's had phenomenal success with Suits, because, you know, being the most famous show in the world. So he came in because he lives in the Toronto area now, after working on Suits for so long, and he was so funny and so great. And he said, he's like, honestly, I haven't had this, and Patrick said the same thing, and Gina, they're like, the energy these kids are bringing to the set reminds me of when I was 20 and starting out. They're not jaded yet. They want to be there, they're having fun. No one's sitting in their trailers. Nobody was complaining the entire movie. Everyone was like, hanging out, being friends. Like, I remember we're shooting the scene where it's the dinner, and I came back and like Jacob, Jordan Poole, like he'd gone home to Nova Scotia and then flew back, and Nico was there with his guitar. Like, they were hanging out and like singing songs, and I mean, it was that kind of a vibe. And then they go out and scream and, you know, being tortured to death. But it was incredible. Everyone's like, you know, it was a great mix of veteran actors, and someone like Karen Cleese, she'd been in Saw 6 and been, you know, doing a lot of roles and smaller things, but then she came in and did that oven scene and was just so happy to be there. We loved her. So it was one of those magical sets. It never would have worked if we didn't have the cast that we did. And to any of you that are filmmakers out there, there's not a person in this cast I wouldn't recommend going after or casting or putting in, especially Gabriel Davenport, who plays Scuba, was fucking incredible. Like, you know, he was just so happy to be here. And like yesterday, they put out on Sony like his little, they made these like personal files, like I'm Gabriel Davenport, I play Scuba. It was on the Instagram, and he's like, and then we made a video game. Did you guys play the video game SurviveThanksgiving.com? It's a mobile game, and I had to put all the actors in the game. Like I didn't tell them, I did it as a surprise. It was like, this is like the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Like, they're so appreciative and they're so happy. And I think it comes up. I mean, I can see you guys enjoying it. You know, like you don't want those scenes between the kills to be boring. I like to have humor, and so that, you know, with that cast, we're able to do it.
The film really moves. It's got a tempo, and it's really interesting because normally you either play for laughs, or you play for the kills, or the scares. This has actually got all three. Like there are legit jump scares, and I was sat at the back of the room just watching the audience move and stuff. So there's moments when Carver like just appears, and people like, yeah, people like shocked. Then there's like Dewey the cat, which got a huge. How did you find that balance between the comedy and the horror and bringing those together and not tipping the balance either way?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, look, the kills, first of all, that cat was the cat in Pet Cemetery. This is like, fucking, I got Leonardo DiCaprio. Fucking good. I was like, can he look into the kitchen as if the killer's there? And the cat's like, wow, that's fucking nailing it. It was great. You know, look, I think it's my personality. In my mind, you should all know this. When I set out to make a movie, it's going to be a normal movie. I totally, in my head, think, oh, this will be like a classic scary movie. Not that I think I'm making The Shining, but like, or maybe Scream or Friday the 13th, like it'll be a regular film. But my taste is just so weird. And I lean towards the ridiculous that I just can't fucking help myself. I always want to, it's like drives me crazy in a movie when someone gets killed and they have a pet. Because I worry about the pet. And I worry about the dog. And I can't enjoy the rest of the movie unless I know someone's gonna feed the cat. You know, it's a pretend cat. It's not really that person's cat, and the cat has a trainer, and it's not real, but who's gonna feed the cat? And the problem started with the alien, where I didn't fuck everyone in this Nostromo. I don't know if Jones is gonna survive.
Yeah.
So when we kill him, I was just like, he's got to feed the cat. This is a movie where the killer kills somebody and then feeds the cat. Because John Carver doesn't kill anyone that's not connected to it. So why would he let the cat starve? So that's the moment that I think the audience gets on Carver's side. They're like, ah, fuck everybody. But yeah, when you're doing a scene, look, we wanted, you know, Lizzie's death to be spectacular. Because, well, first, the beginning, you know, the guy running, you know, Nick Reynolds, who's also in my VR short, I was like, give us a spot where you're going to run through and you're going to be bleeding out, going through the wall. And it was just so ridiculous that he dies and the woman just grabs him off. There's something so horrible and real about it. And then Gina's scalp, I mean, obviously there's, you know, Doug getting crushed and Bobby's arm. But that first scene with Amanda, we thought, like, you can't just shoot her. So we got to do the Dario Argento, you know, the glint on the razor, the slash. But what if he puts his face on the freezer and just sticks her there? And then he can just take his time. And then she's gonna rip her face off. So then she goes and hides. I'm like, well, she would try to call the police, but she couldn't do it if she had no fingertips. And then she tried to do facial, you know, my brain just goes there. So then when, you know, she runs into the dumpster, even though it doesn't logically make sense, it's just so fun. To watch her get, you know, chopped in half like that. And, you know, you have Adrian Moreau, who's a brilliant makeup effects artist, and a Toronto artist named Steve Newberg from Applied Arts helping us out. So, you know, then we knew we needed the body cut in half to put on the side. So the first two deaths are absurd because he just stabs him with an electric carving knife, turns it on, and then garrots the head, pops it off, and then feeds the cat. So by that time, you're thinking, I like John Carver. The kills are fun. This is going to be creative. And then it starts to happen to the people we like. And then you're like, oh, this is fucked up. And then he, fucking kills Yulia, and you're like, oh shit. No one's gonna get scared. Like, it's not fun anymore. So then when we're at the table, we're really like, no, don't do this to Evan. Even though Evan kind of deserves it. It's fucking horrible. And then it's like, well, that's the first one. What's gonna happen to the rest of them? So that's the fun, is that I use humor to kind of disarm the audience a little bit. So everybody jumps when he comes and grabs Gabby and Evan in the school, and when he's chasing Jessica. And look, when you're shooting, you write the scenes, then you go and find the locations. And this high school that we were at, I was walking around, I'm like, what's that? They're like, oh, that's the cosmetology room. Be an auto shop and a gym, like, what do you mean the cosmetology room? They're like, yeah, the cosmetology room. Kids are like learning how to be, cut hair and do makeup and stuff. They don't go to college, they learn it here and then just go to work. And I was like, that's crazy, there's a room full of 100 fake heads. How can we not do E.T. hiding in the closet? So I have them having their discussion in that room, and you write it. You see these incredible things, and you just write it in the script, like that barn where he was kind of chasing Kathleen around, where she's hiding, where he's doing the prep room for her dinner. That barn was actually sort of near where the McCarty house was, and we were down and we're looking around. Okay, he comes back, and it was just like in the movie. We were like, okay, he comes back, and she's gone, and there's a fucking pitchfork. It was right there. It was sitting there in the barn. And there was like, what does he pick up a pitchfork? I was like, oh, that's what I want. It's like the prowler. Once he had a pitchfork in the burned house, like, yeah, now he's a pitchfork, and he can poke around and have baseballs, so we think maybe he's Bobby, and then, we could do the pitchfork through the wall gag, and he could throw in the back of it, all this, that pitchfork wasn't even planned. We knew he had to get her in the oven, and we knew he was gonna chase her, and she was gonna have to hide from him. But again, faith-based system, you just have to trust yourself. You're like, you know what? Between me and Jeff, we've seen every horror movie imaginable, especially from that era. We'll figure something out. And once we got in Milan, the DP, once we got the pitchfork, and Jeff was like, Jeff's a genius at this stuff. He's like, yeah, she can do the footprints to the blood. And it'll be like in Predator, when he thinks he's gonna go for the prep, and the Predator walks away. We should do the Predator gag or the footprints leading, So Jeff just has a mind for that. Jeff's like, I think we need more stuff with Yulia. It's like, she hears a noise, she's like, Dad, then it's Boris, and he's got headphones on, he's listening to Russian opera. All those little things, you laugh, because as soon as Boris shows up, I don't know why, we just started laughing. Even on set, we're like, Boris just made us laugh, this sort of angry Russian dad. Boris.
But there are any kills you wanted to pull off that didn't make it into the script or didn't make it into the film? Is there anything you're holding back for, dare I say, Thanksgiving Part 2?
Black Friday. Thanksgiving 2 Black Friday. But now, in the European release, because they don't have Thanksgiving, they're calling the movie Black Friday. So now I have to call this one Black Friday 2, and then the European one Black Saturday. And maybe if we do Bloody Sunday, they'll catch up or something. Cyber Monday, Terror Tuesday, But no, I think we really got to do what we wanted to do. Sometimes, look, you shoot everything, you try everything, and the audience tells you. We went farther in the Kathleen kill, and nobody laughed at and that's what I want to get to. The scene is building. It's someone being roasted in an oven who's gonna be a turkey, and the scene is building to the thermometer popping. That should get a laugh. And that should be it's so stupid and ridiculous when you kind of earned it, that the audience is with you. You've fucking done that whole cat and mouse, boom, pop. But it wasn't laughing. People, we went too far. And I don't mean it was more gory. People were just it somehow crossed over into, real cruelty in not a fun way.
Mean-spirited.
Mean-spirited, yeah. And I don't think the movie, look, and I know that, there's Last House on the Left, Wes Craven had, I said, the crew was just, spit on him out. I didn't want, that's not the vibe of this movie. It's not a mean-spirited, it doesn't have that kind of, rough, kind of thing. I wanted a movie that would be gory as fuck and insane, but also fun. Like I wanted everybody to go. That scared me, that grossed me out, that disturbed me, but it was a fucking fun ride.
Yeah.
So you could just pull back. It's really like showing it to test audiences, which I used to think was like the worst process. I was totally against it. Thank God I did it, because I would have got my fucking head handed to me. You ever would have like, what the fuck is that?
And then, how were the execs at Sony? Were they like, did they want more gore, less gore? Were they like shocked by this?
Well, I think that, look, we had Nicole Brown at TriStar was our exec, and she was really great, and Nicole was always like pushing for, and they were like down with the kills if it was all tied to Thanksgiving. They're like, you know, oh, stick the corn holders in the ears. Like, oh, that's so sick, we love it. I just had it with meat tenderizer. Yeah, that's great. Roaster and oven. Oh! It's like, if I just said, you know, cut her in half with a chainsaw, it's like, well, why would he do that? But it's like, oh, he's got the thing, and then, you know, the decoy, and then the table saw at the last second. But they trust me. That's the truth. Is like, you know, with that Spyglass, you know, we had Gary Barber and Chris Stone was here, and everyone, like, they trust me. They know what they're signing up for. It's not clear to surprise with me. And they read the script. And I'll always throw in more stuff. I always shoot more gore. But honestly, more gore doesn't make it better or scarier. It's like having, I swear to God, it's like making a pizza. And I become obsessed with pizza making. If you have too much cheese, it gets too watery, it goes right through the dough, and then you're trying to scrape it out, it's got like a big hole, or you can have the wrong balance of ingredients, and it doesn't taste as good. It's like adding more of it doesn't make it better. And it sometimes makes it longer, and sometimes the audience just goes, or they sit there after a kill, and that's when you're like, oh, we're fucked. I mean, this movie was like 15 minutes longer, and I was like, I don't think a second of this movie can come out. And then I showed it to an audience, people were like, that was alright. And I was like, what? cut. And then the next audience, people were screaming and applauding. So that's where I really learned, you know, sort of reminded myself of how valuable it is to show your movie, what you think is perfect, to a bunch of strangers. They will tell you the fucking truth.
I think the other thing as well is, you know your audience as well, Eli.
Yeah.
And we're going to wrap this thing up, but I just want to say thank you for being a part of this, and with this audience, because we've been hungry and thirsty to get your Thanksgiving for so very long. So, I mean,
just emailing, and thank you for your persistence and for pushing. And you know, it was a pleasure. Look, obviously, I love Beyond Fest. I love you guys. I wanted to be there. But you can see, like, up until last week, we had to figure out getting the Rick Hoffman tag in. They were like, can't you just finish this movie? I was like, no, I want the graffiti and the credits, and we got out this tag with Rick Hoffman where I don't yell cut. Because everybody likes to see Rick Hoffman get fucked with. He's always lit. Like, you can't not want to see Rick get fucked with. It's just like, you just see him standing there awkwardly when they don't yell cut. And he just fucking did the finger. I was like, that's how, we need it. It's like a little reward. So, look, obviously you guys are the first ones to see it. So, the first impression is in your hands, literally. So when the embargo ends on the 14th at 8 o'clock, please, the first impression is what's going to make or break this movie. And obviously, I spent 30 some odd years trying to make it. If you hate it, at least give us the opening weekend before you trash it. But please, the first impression that you guys do on social media is everything. It will literally determine the life of this being a franchise or a one-off. So I'd love to continue to do more, so I can't do it without your help. But this is a great screening.
It should always be you on the stage with your movies. It's just a real honor and a pleasure. Thank you for everything you've done throughout your entire career, and then especially for that, because this is a barnstormer, Eli. It feels like it's an Eli Roth movie that no one else has made. So,
trust me, I had such a great time making this that if this movie can do well enough at the box office, I'd be perfectly I was like, fuck everything else. This is what I want to do. I was like, why am I doing anything else? It's for real. This is pointless doing anything else. It was fun doing the other stuff. Love sharks. I'll keep doing that. But this is where I belong.
So you know what to do. Thursday, 14th, 8 p.m. Take to your socials, take to your Twitters, get on there, tell them all have a fucking good Thanksgiving. There's also a crew outside in the lobby. Go talk to them. Tell them how much
That's
you
for
love
the
this
commercials. So you can, let's see your acting. Fucking go fly up the
Yeah, you
store
might
down
get
there.
murdered in
You'll
Thanksgiving
get
to Black
exactly,
Friday.
right?
Yeah.
I'll be watching all those videos.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That was me. That's her. Yeah. Thank you.
Homie does body back. It's hilarious. That's funny. No, I was like, we gotta go ask him.
Yeah, I totally remember that.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Let's do it. Figure it out, guys.
Talk about the film.
All right. Hi, how are you?
Don't get hit by the car. Guys.
Good insurance.